It's 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. It is January 18th, 2022. You know what that means. It's the first day of the spring semester. And what better way to start it off with the best day of the morning buzz? That might be a self-proclaimed title, but I don't care. It's unanimously agreed on upon everyone here at the station. And no, you cannot receive a fact check on that one. Yeah. I am your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined today with some new members and some old. First off, we have my co-host, as always, Jacob Goetz. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kyle. It's great to be back.
That is great to hear. We also have Cam Martin, our sportscaster, filling in for Tanner today. Cam, how are you?
Pretty good, Kyle. It's good to be back. Let's get after it this semester.
That is great to hear. And in the other room, we have Aiden Ivers, our newscaster. Aiden, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm great. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. And for the first time since she's been on the Morning Buzz, here for the entire time, we have our segment host, Emily McCormack.
Hey, yo.
Hello, Emily. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited to be here for the whole time. Less sleep, but it's all good. Let's go.
We don't sleep here.
No
anyway,
sleep.
We got an interesting show for you today. We got more news revolving schools and their protocols against COVID. And then obviously in the later hours, we have the fun stuff. But before that, we have Aiden here with our newscast. Aiden, take it away.
Thank you, Kyle. My name is Aiden Ivers, coming at you live from 90.3 WMSC in Upper Montclair, New Jersey. In national news, a 74-year-old Tennessee woman is exonerated after spending 27 years behind bars. Joyce Watkins went up to pick up her 4-year-old niece in 1987, and hours later, her niece was found unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where she suffered head trauma and vaginal injury, later described by her great-aunt Rose as an accident on a playground, and was pronounced dead. Joyce was arrested in 1998, granted parole in 2015, and was exonerated this week. In New Jersey news, thousands are without power after snow, rain, and hefty windstorms strike New Jersey across the state. According to the state's utility companies, over 6,000 homes and businesses were without power early Monday morning, and by 8:30 a.m., that number jumped to over 10,000. And in local news, a chemical plant fire broke out on Friday night, where over 200 firefighters confronted the flames of a chlorine and pool treatment plant. The firefighters stopped the blaze from engulfing over 3 million pounds of chemicals. Governor Phil Murphy praised the firefighters on their heroic efforts Sunday and noted it could have been a lot worse. And in weather, today is yet another chilly, cloudy winter day with a high of 33 and a low of 21. Wind gusts expected to blow over 10 to 20 miles per hour, and humidity is at 51%.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And moving on, we have Cam today with our sportscast. Cam, what is going on in the world of sports?
So right now, the NFL playoffs are still going on, and we just concluded wildcard weekend. The NFC West champion and 4-seed Los Angeles Rams hosted the 5-seed Arizona Cardinals last night in the first ever Monday Night Football playoff game in NFL history. The Rams dominated the entire game as Matthew Stafford got his first ever playoff win. Los Angeles moves on to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers on Sunday at Tampa. The Rams hope to be back home to play in the big game a month from now. While last night's game did occur, Cardinals safety Budda Baker was injured after attempting to make a tackle on running back Cam Akers. He was immobile. He was taken out on a stretcher and immobilized, but he appears to be making a speedy recovery. Still, we all wish him the best. The Raiders made some changes to their leadership. General manager Mike Mayock was fired by the organization. His team was 26 and 25 under his leadership. However, they faced a lot of off-field controversies across the organization. He did bring in a lot of future leaders such as Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, and others, but it still appears that the Raiders are still far from finding their winning ways. After getting injured on Sunday, in Sunday's win against the Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers tackled Tristan Wirfs as his status up in the air and will be a game-time decision against the Los Angeles Rams. We'll see if Wirfs is able to play against that staunting front four. And on this day in 1976, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Dallas Cowboys in the big game. Steelers wide receiver was named the first wide receiver. Steelers wide receiver Lynn Swann was the first wide receiver to be named MVP of the big game. Kyle, for now, that is your sports report.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And moving into our top story of the day. According to apnews.com, volcanic ash delays aid to Tonga as aerial shots of the damage continue to come in. Piles of ash on an airport runway have delayed aid deliveries to the Pacific island nation of Tonga. For those who don't know, the small nation was rocked by an undersea volcanic eruption that caused a tsunami to hit. There was significant damage done from the catastrophic event. New Zealand's military is sending crucial drinking water and other supplies, but they said the ash on the runway will delay the flight at least another day. A massive ash cloud since Saturday's eruption had prevented earlier flights from delivering supplies as well. New Zealand is also sending 2 Navy ships to Tonga that will depart on Tuesday and pledged an initial 1 million New Zealand dollars, roughly equivalent to $680,000 here in the US, toward recovery efforts. Australia also sent a Navy ship from Sydney to Brisbane to prepare for a support mission if needed. Communications with Tonga have been extremely limited, but New Zealand and Australia sent military surveillance flights to assess the damage on Monday. UN humanitarian officials and Tongan government report significant infrastructural damage and around Tonga Tapu. UN spokeswoman Stephanie Dujarric said, quote, "There's been no contact from the Ha'api Islands, and we are particularly concerned about 2 small low-lying islands, Mango and Foni, following the surveillance flights confirming substantial property damage," end quote.
Gosh.
Unfortunately, it's not happy news that we're starting off with.
Yeah,
buzz.
as it unfortunately never is. But
Yeah.
like, man, volcanoes are terrifying.
Absolutely.
Not only that, this wasn't even
And tsunamis.
this was an underwater volcano.
Gosh.
So I don't know exactly the workings of an underwater volcano, but I guess they're trading in the hot magma for a tsunami.
It's just
Which-
like all the pressure just
Exactly. It's not
Not fair trade. It's still as damaging as an actual volcano would actually be.
and
Oh,
according
yeah.
to the ghost of Isaiah, the West Coast here in the United States also felt some effects of that.
Wow, really?
Yeah, which is crazy to think about because, they're very close, that side of the US,
Mhm.
not ours. I don't think people often realize how close it is to like Japan and Australia and stuff like
people
that.
don't visualize the map like that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially not flat earthers, but
Oh yeah. Well, they don't. I don't know if they could visualize anything.
yeah.
Wow, shots fired.
But also like I don't know. Maybe this is. I'm not really sure how one goes about sending aid to a country that got hit with something as bad as this. But New Zealand is sending 2 Navy ships, which is
Right.
awesome, that will leave and plant an initial 1 million New Zealand dollars, which is 680,000
680,000, yeah.
Sounds a little low to me. I don't know, like
It
680,000.
does sound a little low.
It
Mm.
does.
I don't know, like
Well, also keep in mind, we spent a majority of the last semester reading over bills here in the US in the billions
Yeah.
of trillions of dollars.
Yeah,
so
maybe
we
I'm just
might be
thinking, like,
desensitized.
US money. Like
Yeah.
I guess it is New Zealand. Like I don't know. I don't want to take shots at New Zealand, but like I don't know.
I mean, think of it this way. Yeah, it does seem initially low in compared to what we've been seeing through like the Biden administration, like I was saying, like bills in the billions and trillions. But
Mhm.
think about it this way. If you had $680,000, I think you'd be pretty well off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's-
generally,
I'm not
but
gonna-
like I don't know. In order to like coordinate all the efforts required. To, like,
Yeah, depending on the
um,
context, it does seem on the lower end for a rescue mission.
Yeah. No, I'm not really sure what the bar is.
But on the other
but
hand, it does say initial,
yeah.
meaning they
It
probably
could
will
increase.
send
Yeah.
more depending on
How bad the damage really is.
exactly.
Mhm.
Also, Isaiah poses the question: how do you think the response would be for a U.S. territory?
I'm really not sure. I know in the past, like Puerto Rico has had like issues, like where there have been like natural disasters, and the aid has been kind of
Yeah.
lacking.
Mhm.
So I'm really like I don't know. I don't know how much better. things have been.
Even still, you got to think back in 2005 when Katrina hit. The
Right.
U.S. response was just so
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
even COVID.
Oh yeah,
in
even
a way, yeah.
and we're still doing this now.
Yeah.
Like, what's,
Here we
Yeah,
are.
that's true.
what's going on right
Still
now?
in
But
this.
still, it's just I don't know how the United States would have the response, how that would have been in terms of of efficiency.
Yeah.
Based on the past, I'd say it isn't too promising.
Yeah, that's for sure. The Capital Area YMCA helped both kids and working parents during the most recent COVID school shutdown. According to NJ.com, Trenton Public Schools will return to classroom instruction today after a 2-week closing due to the surge in the Omicron variant and, of course, the holiday break. The switch from in-person to virtual is tough for students, but can be even more tough for working parents who had to play teacher and provide for their families simultaneously. As many parents tried to balance school and work for their families, a familiar face opened the doors for their children to provide a safe place to learn. The Capital Area YMCA is one of the places that had them covered and gave kids a place to carry out virtual learning. The YMCA already offers an expansive array of services for the community, from daycare to after-school activities each weekday. But when the schools closed their physical doors, it also provided an environment for students to participate in remote learning while their parents took care of business. Quote, "We have become basically proctors, tutors, teachers for the children that really needed to keep learning, but their parents need to keep working," said an intern CEO, Io Richardson. He also said, quote, "We have been on the ground since the start of the pandemic. The facility continues its mask, safe distance, and temperature taking policies and follows guidelines from the CDC and the local health department. Parents are encouraged to stay in their cars during drop off and pickup while staff members take the children in and out of the building," end quote. So we have some good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yippee!
Well, to an extent, good
I
news.
mean,
Fair enough. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, some schools, as we have seen, transition to at least a 2-week virtual learning break after the end of the holiday break. We saw a lot of universities.
Rutgers, for
And-
example.
Yeah, Rutgers.
Hmm.
I think they were one of the first ones.
Oh, yeah,
probably.
I think so too.
Yeah.
oh, gosh.
And that really did, put a large strain on us here at Montclair, because for a lot of weeks we haven't heard anything, and we were wondering, are we going to do the same? Are we going to go back?
Mm,
No, we're built different.
And what'd you say?
We're built different.
That's
yeah.
us.
That's one way to put it. But yeah, so we fortunately didn't get that, but unfortunately some colleges didn't, and some public schools as well. But the YMCA here stepped in and are like, "Hey, we got you covered."
Yeah.
And so basically they are providing daycare, like I said before, a safe environment for children to learn while their parents have to go to work. Because unfortunately, it's different from the start of the pandemic when everyone was home, so the parents could watch their kids. But now businesses and schools are going to separate directions, because I doubt many businesses are going back to a 2-week virtual break.
Yeah.
Because
no.
if you haven't noticed, school and work don't operate the same. I'm sorry to
Mhm.
tell you.
I'm not gonna look forward to being an adult, but that's very true.
No, I have 5 months before I have to find a job. I'm scared.
You got this, Kyle.
We believe in you, Kyle.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I remember at the
Feels
start of the
different.
pandemic, in New York, they said that it was a 2-week closure,
Yeah.
and then it was gonna return, but
Mhm.
Oh,
then
yeah.
it never returned.
Cope.
So at least,
Guys, it's just for 2 weeks. I
Welcome
swear.
to year 3 of the 2-week pandemic.
Oh
no, but
yeah.
I think they have a set, better model of like
Yeah.
making a return. Like we have 2 weeks here, and the next 2 weeks we'll see how it gets better. Not
Right.
just like
Yeah.
desert everything like a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was a less than stellar performance across the board. Moving on to our top story for the second hour, we have the LA Times reporting that Joss Whedon,
Josh.
My
Whedon.
main man from the Avengers. Nice.
attempts to defend his
Wait a
murky
second.
past.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. Not my guy.
Joss Whedon was given the opportunity to answer allegations of disgusting misbehavior such as racism, sexism, and having multiple affairs. Let's just say his attempt did not go as planned. Star of Wonder Woman Gal Gadot shared that she had felt at one point Whedon had threatened her career while shooting the Justice League. Whedon responded to that allegation by saying, quote, "I don't threaten people. Who does that?" He concluded she had misunderstood him. English is not her first language, and I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech.
Ouch.
End quote. He recalled arguing over a scene she wanted to cut. He told her jokingly that if she wanted to get rid of it, she would have to tie him to a railroad track and do it over his dead body.
What?
Whedon said, quote, "Then I was told that I had said something about her dead body and tying her to the railroad track," he said. End quote. Gadot did not agree with Whedon's version of events. "I understood perfectly," she told New York in an email. Ray Fisher, whose Justice League role as the superhero Cyborg was drastically reduced when the film's director reins went from Zack Snyder to Whedon, has made multiple public statements accusing the writer-director of abusive and unprofessional actions on set, as well as citing racism as one of the many issues with the reshoot process. Whedon dismissed Fisher's claims, saying he made the change because the storyline featuring Cyborg, who was a central character in the Snyder Cut, didn't work, and that he did not think Fisher had delivered a good performance.
Dang.
He finished off his thoughts by saying, quote, "We're talking about a bad actor in both senses." And
Ouch. Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
This man is firing all types of shots everywhere.
What?
Yeah, really coming out with the
He
the
went crazy disrespecting everybody.
gosh,
Not my
yeah.
guy.
I
Not
don't,
my
Yeah.
guy.
I
Not my
don't
brother
know
anymore.
about you, but I watched both versions. I
Mhm.
think Ray Fisher did a great job as Cyborg.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
So this sounds like Whedon's just trying to say whatever to make him look less bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I especially love the I don't know, there's something about like the I don't threaten people. Who does that? Like there's
That
something
That sounds
about
exactly like
something
someone who
about
would
the
threaten
who
people.
does that. Like I feel like didn't Andrew Cuomo say something like that? Like, oh, I don't harass people. Who does that? What kind of guy does that?
And
then
how'd that work out for him?
Yeah.
Does he have a job?
I have no idea.
There's your answer.
I know I don't believe he's in a position.
Oh no, not at all.
He was
No,
before.
not one bit.
So
Not
it
one
didn't
bit.
work out too well for him.
Not one bit. Not at all. But
No, but as long as you say you don't threaten people, it's fine.
yeah. Who does that?
Who would do that?
No one's ever done
Not
that.
There
No
is-
one's ever
Joss.
There's nothing more stating the obvious than pretending you don't know what that thing is.
that's like
Yeah.
Threatening?
Wow.
Why would anyone do that?
that's like
I've never
saying-
met
like
that
saying-
person before. and met-
That's like saying emo does not have orange hands. Who
What?
does that?
No, don't call me
Yeah.
out like that.
Got you orange handed.
Who would dye someone's hair without gloves?
Who does that?
Who does that? I would
especially,
never.
especially somebody. I'm assuming you've dyed your own hair, right?
In the past?
So
Yeah.
you have experience with dyeing hair. You would know how to wear gloves.
Oh yeah, I just didn't have gloves. And
Oh, okay.
Well, she said, "Oh,
I
we
said,
trying to hide. We
what's
trying to say it wasn't you. Come on now.
my hair?
Hey,
What?
Come on now. We trying to hide me. I didn't say anything. But yeah.
So,
That's
so
all.
Anyway, wear gloves.
off topic, off topic. But yeah, Emo's word of advice for today: wear gloves
Wear
when dyeing
gloves.
hair.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Go figure.
On Joss Whedon, I don't know what his deal is. Seems,
I would love to hear the audio clip of these quotes because I can just imagine
Yes.
he says it exactly like, "I don't threaten people. Who does that?"
What are you talking about?
It's just wait, hang on.
Ray-
Practically speaking, the Cinder cut of the Justice League
Cinder
is
cut?
like, yeah, Zack Cinder, right?
Snyder.
Oh, Snyder. That's my bad.
It's
That's my bad. That's my bad.
You're good.
That's
Kyle said
Snyder.
dot.
Snyder.
Good job.
It's like
I'm sorry.
it's 30 times better than Joss Whedon's
Yes.
version.
Exactly.
You know?
Which is crazy because
Oh, yeah.
which is so crazy because one, he made the Avengers.
He did do that.
Well, here's the thing.
I didn't realize that.
You, if you've seen Justice League, you know
I know,
it's
it was very rushed.
DC trying to be Marvel.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
very yeah, it was
But
very
it-
rushed.
they-
Very rushed.
It works though.
No, it doesn't.
Not for
The-
DC.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Well,
like, I
No,
mean,
it doesn't.
in the Snyder one, I think.
The
Yeah,
longer
That
one.
was really good.
Yes, that
That was
one
really good.
was good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But 4 hours is very long though. That's
it was
my.
worth it.
That was a
It
draw.
was worth it. But man, sitting through that was
It's only
like
2 morning buzzes.
That's one way to put it.
yes.
We can
you're
measure
not
time in
wrong.
morning buzz.
Yeah, that's true.
Only
1.5
2.
morning
Man, I've been
buzzes.
waiting.
Yeah.
I've been waiting a half a morning buzz for this sandwich. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I'm
Oh my
leaving.
Jeez.
I woke up a whole morning buzz before the morning buzz.
Whoa, you wake up that early?
I'm sorry, a morning buzz and a half.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I woke
3
up.
hours.
I woke
3
up
hours.
a half a morning buzz early before the morning buzz.
That's still
I
fair.
woke up a quarter before. No, it's okay.
I
Anyway,
used to measure time in
Anyway,
Shreks.
never watch another Marvel movie again because Joss Whedon is bad.
but he's not in charge of most
He
of the
made
Marvel
one
movies.
movie. No, 2.
He's probably made a couple, right?
No, just 2.
I'm sure he's made multiple within the MCU, but he's not in charge of all of them.
He
I
made
don't
2
know.
movies.
Seems pretty inseparable.
Like the weather and the wind.
Our next story revolves around what you just heard. That's right. There's a new addition to another horror movie franchise, and it has just stolen the box office, apparently.
Did it really?
Apparently,
that's
according
surprising.
to Isaiah and Variety.com, Scream is back and it has dethroned Spider-Man No Way Home over
What?
the 4-day Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, which makes it the first film to drop Spider-Man out of its #1 slot, just like Andrew Garfield did to Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No. What?
Did
Andrew Garfield didn't drop Gwen Stacy.
Wait, there's a conflict.
You're right. He
He,
just failed to catch her.
No,
her.
the
You see-
Green Goblin dude dropped her, and he
Yeah.
just couldn't catch her.
Isaiah, get your
Andrew
jokes right.
Garfield,
Yeah.
is the actor.
Yeah,
So-
actually, Spider-Man dropped Gwen
Spider-Man.
Stacy.
Andrew Garfield. Why are we trying to do him like that?
No, this is the new universe where
Oh.
famous actor Andrew Garfield actually becomes Spider-Man.
Oh,
Yeah, and
wait.
dropped Gwen Stacy.
Oh,
Were we supposed to know about that?
that was a No Way Home. That's what,
Oh,
No,
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 no way home, Skylar, dump that.
No
Oh,
spoilers
No, I
here.
meant in real life.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Isaiah should just propose The Amazing Garfield. which
Maybe
has
that will beat
as the
Scream.
cat-
which out of context has just
Yeah.
weird implications.
Does that have anything to do with the hand?
I think
The
I think-
Amazing Garfield starring Bill Murray.
Good lord.
Anyway, back to the story. The slasher revival grossed $34 million from 3,664 locations to top the box office. The impressive haul means that Paramount and Spyglass Media, the companies behind the reboot, will also have one very profitable movie on their hands since Scream cost only
Only.
$25 million to make.
Oh.
Only 25. You know,
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, in blockbuster movie
That is
numbers,
true.
it's pretty. It's not
that is
big.
true.
No, 25 million is crazy.
Yeah.
To gross that much.
With $702.9 million in the bank, Spider-Man No Way Home has supplanted Black Panther to become the 4th highest grossing domestic release in history. Only
Wow.
Avatar with $760 million, Avengers Endgame $858 million, and Star Wars The Force Awakens $936 million have ranked higher on the all-time list.
Yo, I'm saying though.
I was surprised by that one.
what?
I did not expect Star Wars to be the #1.
I'm low key
Wait,
not.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That's the first one.
That's
right?
the
I'm
first
look-
one.
I
of
can
the
imagine
reboot.
that because we didn't know what the
Yeah.
sequels
True.
were gonna be yet.
True.
We thought they could be good, so
Yeah.
that was hype.
Like,
Yeah.
nah, bro. Like, The Force Awakens was so. I was so mad. It was the way it went afterwards. But that's not the point.
Force Awakens wasn't
It
bad.
it was cool.
Force Awakens, there was still hope.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
that's the
And
and then
which is funny because episode 4 was the New Hope, but it also came out first. There's a joke in here somewhere. I didn't execute it
It's
correctly.
there. Haha.
But yeah,
So
kind of like this week of the buzz. Star Wars started off good, and then everything after that just went downhill.
Oh.
yeah, I mean Monday started off well. Oh wait, that's right.
Did
We didn't
it?
have anything Monday.
No.
We are the best.
Cap.
Kenny said it, so it's true, guys.
Kenny's not here.
Dude, you dare
dang.
disrespect him like that. The spirit of Kenny lives on forever.
Yeah.
All right, so
Sorry
let
about
me
that.
ask. Although it did just come out, have any of you seen Scream yet?
No,
No.
my roommates
Negative.
did though.
Honestly,
really?
I did not know it was out yet. I thought it was
Yeah.
like coming like.
I thought it was
later.
the 22nd actually. So
Also,
this one's
I
news
have
to
not
me.
seen. Yeah, I have not seen it.
Have you
What
seen the
commercials for?
original?
I
Any of
have
the
seen
4
the
original?
Okay. Who has seen the original Scream?
I have.
I'm about to say,
Okay.
who hasn't seen the original Scream?
I
haven't.
haven't.
Aiden hasn't.
What?
I haven't either.
Abel and Aiden.
I'm sorry.
Field trip.
Let's go right
Field
now.
trip to where? I guarantee you the first Scream is not playing in theaters anymore.
We'll play it.
On the account that it came out.
What, 80? What, 80?
Can't do
80s
math
or
that
90s.
fast.
Somewhere
I think
between
91.
like
91?
40 to 50 years ago.
We'll figure it out.
At least
maybe
a couple of years
94.
ago.
It was not 50 years ago. I know that.
No,
50.
it's
December
it's-
20th, 1966.
What?
No, I'm sorry, 1996.
Oh my God.
1966.
Wait, isn't it 25 years old?
1996. Yeah. I
Whoa.
guess, something
Wow.
like
Well,
that.
I haven't
thought-
seen
I thought
it,
was-
so
Wow, I thought it was much older. My fault.
So odd when
Well,
like
Kyle thought it was
2000
much
was like
older.
2 years ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, that
It's
new
okay.
Spider-Man movie that came out in 1022. Because
Oh,
apparently, I don't know
yeah,
how
I
numbers
remember
work.
that. I was
Uh,
there. I saw it in theaters.
But yeah, I'm actually very surprised
Yeah.
that
Spider-Man.
Scream, of all things,
Beat
topped
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I didn't know Scream was so.
I'm
I didn't think, especially because like I don't know, a Scream reboot. Like I feel like everyone knows how
It's
that's
not.
gonna go.
I don't think it's a reboot though. I think it's just a sequel. I think
Wait.
this is literally just Scream 5.
is
You
it-
say
what?
reboot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reboot.
I thought it was, let me
It says
double check that.
reboot.
It
This
says
says
Well,
revival.
it's odd because it's technically a
Question mark?
reboot because it's not like it doesn't say Scream 5.
Right, but it
Oh.
has all the
But
same
yeah, no,
characters and
I saw
continues
the thing
story,
that
or
it's
so it seems.
It's continuing
it's
the
like
story.
it's like Halloween.
Yeah. So it is possible. It might be like Halloween where they disregard some of the other movies
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
Halloween
Hmm.
timeline is a mess.
It might be like that because I know they have like the original protagonist from
Yeah.
the first movie who comes in as like a similar figure as like she's
Right.
gonna beat him up.
Yeah, it's
um,
not like the Nightmare on Elm Street movie from like 2013 where it was a reboot and they just told the
Yeah.
same story just slightly different. This is, hey, remember that movie from 1966 apparently? Yeah,
It wasn't that old. Jeez.
96. I can't believe I messed that up.
That's hilarious.
It's okay. We'll forgive you, maybe.
Although according to Isaiah, it's advertised as a reboot.
Funky.
Oh,
Huh.
That's I'm
Weird.
curious now. No, I'm
Uh,
really curious now.
Hollywood companies don't care about like lore.
That's
That's,
Mm.
that's just
lore.
what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
That was my thing when I first heard about the Scream trailer. I'm like, they're just gonna make it a horror movie. It's not gonna be Scream because Scream was, hey, look how stupid horror movies are.
Yeah, Scream really is not a horror movie. I watched Scream when I was like very young, and it was not scary.
I
to me.
watched Scream when
Scream-
I was 10.
Terrified me.
Wait,
no, I'm
really?
sorry. I'm sorry. Hearing about Scream terrified
Oh,
me.
it did. It did.
I took a film class once, like an extracurricular thing, and this one class they were talking about horror movies,
Oh.
and I was like maybe 13, way more of a scaredy cat than I am now, and they went through the opening scene, and they're like, I want to know who I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, I'm not sleeping tonight,
Oh, man.
and then I watched it 2 years ago. I'm like, oh,
That's
okay.
it.
it wasn't
Yeah,
that
no,
bad.
that's really the opening scene is really the scariest part.
Yeah.
And the best part.
No, but here's the thing. I watched Scream, then I watched Scary Movie. Those two together.
Yeah.
It gives- ever since that I can't watch Scream the opening part anymore without holding the laughter. So like,
Well, I
whoops.
mean, Scream's not scary anymore because
I'm
hey,
older.
who
I'm a
who
big
answers
kid
the
now.
phone anymore if you don't know who it is?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
answers the phone if you know who it is?
Whoa. Depends on the person.
I don't. I'm
You-
surprised they answered Emo's call the other night.
I was surprised as well. Probably saw my name like, oh, that one.
Oh.
But I'm in trouble.
All right,
And then
well,
you
with-
reluctantly answered, hello.
Hello.